Leadership skills do not come naturally to most people, and they can be difficult to learn, even for those who have a talent for it. Good leadership is not easy. It requires a great level of knowledge and many skills that can only be acquired through years of practice, all acting in balance. That balance is the most important part of being a good leader. A lot of people who find themselves in leadership positions often fall into what we saw through Thorax and Ember during Triple Threat. Frankly, I still don't understand why Thorax was thrust into the leadership position. He is the quintessential example of a reluctant leader. He has no experience or desire, and he is far too passive. His confidence level is almost zero. Traits like this make it difficult at the very least to command respect. It is harder still to accomplish anything as a leader because of that. Leaders like Thorax are susceptible to manipulation by those in advisory positions and often get overthrown. Ember's rise to leadership is much more understandable. Compete to prove herself. I can admire the mentality. However, I don't believe it's a good reason to become the leader. It's a shallow motivation often shared by those who psychopathically thirst for power. Ruling like this brings an air of oppression, which those you're leading will often rebel against, thus requiring more and more force in order to maintain your own power. Leaders like Ember are susceptible to constant power struggles. This is time that would be better spent working the community towards a goal, and they often get overthrown and their constituents are often miserable. However, this doesn't mean that either of these styles are without their merit. Thorax's style lends itself to high levels of compassion and understanding, so that when someone in a subordinate position is having a problem, they'll be more likely to help them solve it and better move the community towards the goal. Ember's style carries extreme potential for high discipline and efficiency. For the time that's not wasted on competition, the ranks and roles of the team are clear and they can move towards the goal more quickly. But as stated in the episode, without that compassion, an individual might feel useless as part of their community. If they have the option to leave, they will. Or at the very least, they won't perform their roles to their highest ability and have no desire to improve. This could very easily domino into everyone else and sink whatever goals that they were working towards. But without that harshness granting the ability to take action, create discipline, and create consequences, you'll be a doormat as a leader. You'll be taken over by someone more willing to fight, who will drive the community towards their own selfish goals and then discard the constituents when it becomes convenient. A good leader must understand the purpose and struggles of all subordinate positions and be able to coach them as necessary. A good leader must be able to keep the past, present, and future in mind all at once in order to keep sight of the goals. The confidence, empathy, harshness, and most importantly, balance are just some of the skills needed to hold the attention of a group of people and direct them willingly towards a goal. Leadership is not a position for the weak of heart. Neither is it for those who thirst for power, despite the harsh reality that leadership is often where we find those characters. The best leaders often do not want to be leaders, because leading isn't fun. It's stressful. It's a high-stakes juggling act with the potential to make or break the very lives of those you're in charge of. However, the best leaders are often those nominated by their peers for their demonstrable merit. They use their high level of understanding to carve the path towards the goal among their peers, rather than over them. The pleasure of good leadership comes from reaching the goal or bringing your community to a position where they can reach the goal. This also comes with the unfortunate reality that part of being able to take action and create discipline will sometimes mean pruning the parasites and dead branches from the community. There is no easy way to do this, and a good leader should take no pleasure in it. As a side note, this is why you must always be wary of those who seek positions of power, especially through strategies like sabotage and/or nepotism, as that is not a leader. It is a very evil person with an insatiable thirst for power. And you are not a person to them. You are a pawn at best and a slave at worst. And in either case, they will feed you to whatever machine they are creating for themselves without hesitation and regardless of where you fall within the hierarchy. Thorax and Ember aren't necessarily examples of bad leadership though. They're just individuals with incomplete leadership skills. However, Triple Threat also gave us an example of bad leadership in the form of Spike, Twilight, and Starlight, who thought that dishonesty and segregation was a good idea. Spike showed really bad faith in both of his friends for thinking that they wouldn't get along without having any way of knowing, and I still have trouble wrapping my head around Twilight and Starlight going along with that plan. All three of these characters should have known better, especially after 6.5 seasons of demonstrating being better, or at least learning through past mistakes. Don't ever do this for yourself. The episode wrote Spike getting lucky and learning a lesson that he should have already known. But in real life, what is far more likely to happen is that all three friends would lose trust and grow to spite each other. They'd gain a polarized image of each other's weaknesses as all-encompassing personality traits and become more entrenched in their own respective leadership methods, thus bringing about the worst consequences of both extremes for their respective communities. Spike's worst fears were almost realized by his own actions. We cannot reasonably hope for a resolution as good as the one he received at the end of the episode. Thorax and Ember demonstrated two ends of the extremes on a leadership skills spectrum, and it's never a good idea to segregate those ideas. They should be allowed to meet so that they can exchange and expand their worldview to become better leaders. Additionally, like Spike, we need to take that leap in trusting our friends. Leadership skills like this can only be acquired and honed through years of practice. So if Spike, Ember, and Thorax can take these lessons as the planting of the seeds to become the leaders that their people need, then maybe we can do the same. And that's the moral of the story. If you have any comments, critiques, or suggestions, you can send me a message by following Brawny on Tumblr or Brawny Debates on Twitter. This video was supported by all of my generous backers on Patreon, especially Princess Heather Blossom, Kyle Christensen, Shady Oak Ministries, Emerald Spencer, Pony Cordero, Morningstar, Rain Coon, DJ Skywalker, Sid McConroy, Auto Knight, Senko, Q-Flash, Billy Henline, Alden McManx, Easy Mode Gamer, Kanto Acrylic VA, Zoroark 720, Mr. Sonic 31, Ridge the Hedgehog, and Dark Malcontent, author of the Metaverse series. Be sure to check out all of their content links in the description. You can also see how you can join them in supporting my channel and what you would get in return. Have a great day, and I look forward to hearing from all of you soon.